I got gum. I need to get rid of my gum. This is so non-professional. I need to get rid of my gum. Lonzo Ball. Tell me you guys caught Lonzo Ball last night. Here's my thing. I know a lot of you guys have finally agreed to finally agree. To finally agree? Yeah, that makes sense. Some of you guys have finally agreed to agree with your boy CK when it comes to Lonzo Ball becoming a New York Knick in the near future. But then there's still a lot of naysayers out there that just don't believe he makes sense for this team. Last night was the perfect example. Did you see the starting lineup that the Pelicans rolled out there in that game against the Houston Rockets? No Zion, no BI, and two centers that don't really stretch out the floor. He had Jackson Hayes and Steven Adams starting with Lonzo. On top of that, with Eric Bledsoe and then James Johnson. James Johnson is essentially the only stretch shooter that you put on the court with Lonzo Ball to start the game with. And what does Lonzo do? Scores an early 12 points to start off the game. Stop trying to find reasons and just accept the fact that Lonzo Ball is, if the Knicks are able to bag Lonzo Ball from the Pelicans in the restricted free agent market this offseason, we will have our point guard of the future. This kid had 27 points, 9 assists, 8 threes in his game last night with no help. Now I hear the haters in the back. Yeah, it was against the Rockets though, CK. The Rockets suck. Okay, cool. But the Pelicans are in no place to be talking about any other team sucking because the Pelicans are not looking hot right now. And here's the thing. When Lonzo has 27 points, you think that, other players won't really do too much. No, he had 27 points. The team still managed to score 122 points. Like I mentioned, 9 assists. Eric Bledsoe, 19. Steven Adams, 12. Jackson Hayes, 11. James Johnson, 18. Willie Herman Gomez, 15, who Lonzo was feeding throughout the entirety of that second half because they kept putting smaller guys on Willie Herman Gomez. Yes, our Willie Herman Gomez, Billy Herman Gomez, whatever you want to call him. Lonzo was out there making him look like a star with 15 and 12 on the night. For those who are still hating, because it can't be about his game at this point anymore. You're literally just hating because you're so worried about his daddy. And if that's the situation, then I no longer want to have the conversation with you. Stop going off of highlights. Stop going off of what your local Triple B hater is saying online. Watch him play the game of basketball and then come back to me. That's all I'm saying. Now let's talk about some Knicks, because tonight we got a big game against the Brooklyn Nets. How's that going to fare? Also, it's time for some bench players to get more minutes. And I think you guys already know who I'm talking about. No, the first one does not start with a Frank or end with a Ntilikina, okay? We're talking about my boy Kevin Knox. Run the intro. What's going on, CK Crew? It's your boy CK2K here, and welcome back to another video. If you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Do not forget to like this video. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have a big game tonight against the Brooklyn Nets. Yes, the team that got the best of us in the last two outings. Don't want to talk about that, but nonetheless, we are playing bright and early today at 7 p.m. Oh, and we're playing on NBA TV. Not a fan of that. But yes, in the first two matchups, we did not come out okay against them. The first time we played them, Kevin Durant walked all over us, beating us 116 to 109. And the last one was a bit closer, even though the majority of the game was not close. But we made a nice little run in the end, and we almost tried to steal that game from them as we lost 112 to 117. All I'm trying to say is the Brooklyn Nets, to me, are not as unbeatable as they may seem on the surface, especially if they don't have everybody back. I did see reports over the weekend that James Harden and Kevin Durant were working out extra this weekend to possibly be back for this game. I don't know if they just really want to beat the Knicks or if they just really want to get back on the court. And looking at the remainder of our schedule, this is it. So normally in a matchup where we see them 4 times a year, we're only seeing them 3 times. So this one, ultimately the series is going to be lost, but we cannot go out being swept by them this season. It is that important to me. I don't care what you say about regular season days, but even more than just the battle of the Nets versus the Knicks. More importantly, the Knicks dropped some games that we could not drop. I didn't make a video talking about the Mavericks game, but obviously, I do post game all the time, so you can see me over on Knicks Fan TV if I don't immediately make a video about these post games. But we lost 2 gimmies, not gimmies, but 2 games that we should have won in the Mavericks game and the Timberwolves game. But the Timberwolves and Mavericks games, those are definitely 2 games that we should have won. You can blame rotations, you can blame the players, whoever you want to blame. Point of this, the Knicks lost the game, and the Knicks need to win that game, and that's why I don't care if it's the Pistons. I don't care if it's the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't care if it's the Los Angeles Lakers. That game against the Pistons was a must-win game because the Knicks they showed that they are not a team that is going to be winning those gimme games right now because we're still trying to find who we are as a team right now. All that being said, tonight's game is important, and it's more than just the Knicks Nets thing that everyone's trying to blow up. It's the fact that the Knicks need to stop showing that we can compete and start showing that we can win against these big teams. Because like I mentioned, in the first 2 outings, the first one was a bit rough, even though we started off the game okay, but Kevin Durant, for the most part, just toyed with us and walked all over us in that game when we were 5-7 at the time, I think is what our record was. And in that second game, we had too much of a slow start that it was just too much of a comeback for us to come back and win that game because we lost by 5 points, 112 to 117. The huge keys for us to win these games, whether it is the Nets, the T-Wolves, whoever the team may be, the key for these games are 2 things to me, and I'm looking for them, and we saw it a little bit more against the Detroit Pistons yesterday, but it's team basketball. Elfrid Payton, I know that he's been the spotlight of a lot of criticism from everybody all season long, myself included, somebody who has actually been trying to defend Elfrid Payton up until this season. This season of Elfrid Payton is not one that I was expecting to get from Elfrid Payton. Elfrid Payton that I know is a facilitating point guard that plays defense. This year, although his points have been up, the facilitation has gone out the window, and that's why I have been joining in on the bashing of Elfrid Payton, and it has nothing to do with him as a person. It's his basketball game, because this is not the player that I was looking forward to seeing come back for this team. The best sample size we saw of Elfrid Payton being Elfrid Payton that we knew was this last game against the Pistons, and that's the guy we need to see more of. I need to see less of the three-point shot, less of the closing, tuning everybody out to make sure he gets to the paint for a missed layup. We need to see more facilitating Elfrid Payton, because that is the best version of Elfrid Payton, because when he's facilitating, the team facilitates, and when the team facilitates, that's the best version of the New York Knicks. Hero ball Knicks never wins us anything. We saw that against the worst team in the NBA, where we tried to play hero ball and they still outplayed us because they were playing within themselves. They were moving the ball. They were going to their rookies to close us out in a game that we should have won against the worst team in the NBA. We need to be more aware of that, and we need to stop playing the hero ball game. It just doesn't work for us. We're not that team. And the other thing is the rotations. Not only just the fact of who needs to be played in this and third. No, it's going to the second unit sooner. I can factual say that every game that we have played this season, the second unit has always been the ones to keep us in the game or been there to save our asses every single game. And my thing is, when it comes to these games, I know it's not Tom Thibodeau's way. It's not what Tom Thibodeau does. And I want Tom Thibodeau to keep doing what he does, because let's be real, there's no 20-5 and 25 Knicks without Tom Thibodeau. You guys can go in there and bash the coach as much as you want. You can do that. But at the same time, you also got to realize there is no us this season without Tom Thibodeau. For that to also be said, I do believe that there needs to be a bit of adjustment within his rotations, and that's where the assistant coaching comes in, and they step in and say something, because we know Tom Thibodeau to be the one to put heavy minutes on our starters. But every game we play, you see the starters get gassed by the fourth quarter, and he still plays them too much in the third quarter and goes back to them way too early in the fourth. That does not give them enough time to be ready to close out these games. You got to trust your bench, because our bench has been providing. They've been playing well, and in those garbage minutes, we're seeing guys like Kevin Knox, who the kid had 9 points in 6 minutes of basketball in that Detroit Pistons game. He's shooting over 40% from the three-point line this year, and I understand Obi Toppin has been, he's been up and down. He had that great game, that great start against the Mavericks, and we never went back to him, which is completely crazy to me. At the same time, you're getting a whole bunch of consistent nothing from Obi Toppin, because we just not playing the way that Obi Toppin plays. That Mavericks game, we got to see Obi Toppin break out because we played fast. We played the way Obi Toppin plays, the way he's comfortable to play. But more times than not, we're not playing that way because we're walking the ball up the court, and that's just not him right now. He needs to figure that side of his game out, and he will. I'm not worried about that. I'm not saying that he's going to be a bust. But in those moments, that's when you got to go to something else. If this is not working, go to something else. That is the beauty of having depth. This team has depth. We have players that play every position at depth. We're seeing Norvell Pell play his first game against the Pistons, dislocates his finger, gets it popped right back in place, and proceeds to go get 2 blocks. And I had to watch it back. 1 block was with the offhand, and the other block was with that same hand where he just dislocated his finger. That is what I'm talking about. We have depth of playing the same position at every position on this team. We have the depth. Use the depth. If something's not working, adjust. That is my biggest note for this team, and we're going to need that going into the playoffs. I understand you go with these shorter rotations in the playoffs, but also we see coaches going with these shorter rotations, see who's just not cutting it in the playoffs right now. We got to use somebody else. it should be the same thing for us in this regular season. We go against the Brooklyn Nets team tonight, and we go up there and we play the lackadaisical way that we've been playing against the Miami Heat, the Mavericks, and the Timberwolves. We're going to get blown out tonight. I love Reggie Bullock and Julius Randle saying what they had to say, and that is true. I completely agree that, you know, we have a big five or whatever, because I do believe that this team is deep. But at the same time, if we play to their level, we try to play hero ball, we try to play one-on-one basketball, we will lose this game. And we will not only lose this game, we will get smacked in this game. We cannot play the one-on-one basketball. We have to play as a team, with Julius Randle being one of the guys getting the most touches, and then followed by RJ Barrett, but still by playing team basketball. And that is my biggest note. That is what I see us getting away from in these last few games. The last time we played the Sixers, where it went to overtime, we lost by 1 point. You saw in that, like I said, in that fourth quarter, that overtime, you saw us try to play hero ball, and it just does not work in our favor. We have the guys, the Alec Burks of the world, the Emmanuel Quickleys of the world. Like I said, at the far end of the bench, the Kevin Knoxes that can go out there and do something. And for even if you are the biggest Frank hater, you saw the sample size that Frank Ntilikina had against the Mavericks last season. You cannot tell me that Frank Ntilikina could not have gone out there defensively to at least slow down Luka Doncic to end the quarter, to end the game with. We had no option. We had nothing for him. We had nobody out there that was able to stay in front of him. Reggie Bullock, as great of a defender he's been this season, he had a hard time stopping him from getting to the paint. We saw Frank Ntilikina do that at a very beautiful rate last year in 2 games. I don't care what you talk about with his scoring. That is where we could have used him in that game. So tonight's game, I definitely believe is winnable. I don't think any game that the Knicks play is not winnable, to be completely honest. I don't care if it's the Utah Jazz, who's the best in the West right now, or if it's the Brooklyn Nets or the Milwaukee Bucks, whoever's the best in the East whenever they want to be. I don't go into any of these games scared. I understand there's the PTSD and, you know, the Knicks of old. No, I don't go into any of these games scared. We've come this far, 30 games in, where I believe that this team can go out there, and when they play the right way, they play the way that the Knicks have been playing all season long, playing gritty, playing aggressive, and playing as a team, I believe we can beat any team. And that starts with tonight with the Brooklyn Nets. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below about how tonight goes. This has been my little hype up speech and my little bit of adjustments on how I hope that we go forward with the last few games that we have this season. But what are your thoughts? And let me know them in the comments below. It's been your boy CK. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Do not forget to like this video. I'm out of here. We need this win tonight. It's an early start for me. I'm probably going to miss a little bit of the first quarter, but I will be there to catch this game. Catch you guys in the next one. I'm out of here. Let's get it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Feeling like I won the lotto. Always taking trips with a new chick, asking where the time goes. And I wonder if this is all I'll know.